My friend just got stabbed at 161. Smoke stop. Carry it out. Okay. I'd like to call this terrible house, please.
You said that's gunshot. Okay.
She got stabbed right there. Saw all the blood come out, bro.
The girl in the orange is the one
The
that
girl in
got
the
cut?
orange is the one who got cut.
2023년 3월 오하이오주 콜럼버스 10대 소녀들의 단순한 말다툼이라고는 도저히 믿기지 않는 끔찍한 칼부림 사건이 발생했습니다.
Halia, crunch her ass to get it over with, bro. Crunch her ass to get it over with, Halia.
Records show March 2023, the two teens were arguing inside a store in Northeast Columbus. It escalated to a fight outside where Baronzini stabbed Culbertson in the neck.
과거 단짝이었던 친구가 결국 자신의 손에 죽었다는 소식을 듣게 된 용의자.
Talia was taken to the hospital, and that's where she died. She didn't survive her injuries.
그런데 그녀의 표정은 어딘가 기묘했습니다.
No sort of self-defense or anything.
끔찍한 비극에 대한 슬픔이나 죄책감보다는 자신의 정당방위가 인정받지 못할까봐 전전긍긍하는 기이한 모습을 보였죠. 도대체 한때 절친이었던 이들 사이에 무슨 일이 있었길래 이런 사건이 발생한 것일까? 그리고 법정은 이 10대 살인범에게 어떤 처벌을 내렸을까? 지금부터 저와 함께 이 사건의 전말을 파헤쳐 보겠습니다. 처벌 실화냐? (2023년 3월 26일) 밤 11시 48분 오하이오주 콜럼버스.
Please, I can't watch the drama. I'm calling 911. What's going on? My friend just got stabbed at 161. Smoke stop. Carry it out. Okay. I'd like to call this terrible house, please.
You said that's gunshot. Okay. Calm down. You said 161.
Carry out. Smoke stop.
Okay. Just stay on the line with me. Where is she right now? You give me she.
Who stabbed her? I know who stabbed her. I know who stabbed
Who
her.
is it that did it?
It's Brianna Berentini. She poked her hand. She can't breathe. She got stabbed right before her collarbone.
다급한 신고를 받고 출동한 현장은 그야말로 아수라장이었습니다.
Stay back, all right? Hey, you gotta let them do their work, okay? Oh my God! Come on, guys, let's get back. Hey, back up. Come on.
No, who stabbed her?
Did anyone see what he got stabbed with? He's asking. What did he get stabbed with?
Yes.
You don't know? They don't know. Hey, man, just let him work.
10대 소녀가 목에 치명적인 자상을 입고 아스팔트 위에서 쓰러져 있었죠.
Yeah, see, just let him work, man. Just let him work.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That they were supposed to be fighting. I didn't see no knife get pulled or nothing. Next thing I know, she bleed out her neck.
What's his name? You know his name? Halia Blue. Halia Blue.
That's all I know. Halia.
Did anyone see it? The girl did. She's the only one. She's our only witness. Okay.
Where y'all going? Where y'all going?
구급차 옆에서 광분한 채 정신 못 차리고 있는 남성을 발견하고 얘기를 해보는 경찰.
Man, I'm standing right there.
You're standing right there? All right. Is that from that's him?
My little sister.
Okay. All right, come on. You got any ID on you, bud?
I do in my wallet, but I can give you my name, my birthday, and my social real quick.
Where's your wallet at?
In my mom's.
All right. Let's go ahead and have a seat right here.
도대체 이곳에서 무슨 일이 벌어졌던 것일까? 이 남성의 증언을 들어봐야겠습니다.
My sister.
That's your sister that got cut?
No, she's not blood related, but I've known her since she was 12. Bro.
Okay, so a good friend of yours?
Yeah,
All right.
man.
횡설수설하던 남성은 떨리는 손으로 자신의 스마트폰을 경찰에게 내밀었습니다.
So what? Did you see what happened? You see
Man, I
what
got that on video, man. I don't even know where the fuck she got stabbed at, bro. Oh no, bro. It was beef in the side of the square.
그 안에는 사건 발생 직전부터 범행이 일어난 순간까지의 모든 과정이 고화질로 생생하게 담겨 있었죠.
She got stabbed right there. Saw all the blood come out, bro.
The girl in the orange is the one
The
that
girl
got
in the
cut?
orange is the one who got cut. Take that phone away from me,
All right.
bro.
당시 주차장에선 어떤 일이 벌어지고 있던 걸까? 우선 영상 속 인물들이 어떤 행동들을 했었는지 좀 더 자세히 봐야겠습니다. 주황색 옷을 입은 여성의 이름은 할리아입니다. 그리고 영상을 찍으며 싸움을 부추기고 있는 인물은 딜런입니다. 그리고 뒷걸음치고 있는 여성은 브리아나 바로지니입니다. 극대노를 하며 자신의 분노를 주체하지 못하는 할리아.
Hey, get off my sister, bro. Get off my sister. Hey, if you touch my sister again, I'm gonna have to put my phone down, bro.
친구의 부추김에 바로지니를 향해 돌진했습니다.
Halia, crunch her ass to get it over with, bro. Crunch her ass to get it over with, Halia.
이에 다가오지 말라며 경고하지만 급기야 할리아는 틈을 파고들어 그녀의 뺨을 강하게 후려쳤죠. 뺨을 맞고 이성을 잃은 바로지니는 즉각 반격에 나섰고 현장은 아수라장이 됐습니다.
Yeah, crunch Halia. Crunch ass, Halia. Crunch Halia.
그런데 잠시 후 일방적으로 바로지니를 몰아붙이던 할리아가 비명을 질렀습니다.
You better get your girl before she get f***ed up even more. You just leaked her ass.
자신의 가슴과 목에 묻어있는 피를 본 것이죠. 단순한 주먹 싸움이 아니었습니다. 뒷걸음질을 치던 그 짧은 찰나, 바로지니는 주머니에서 잭나이프를 꺼내 쥐고 있었던 것입니다. 그리고 이성을 잃고 칼을 든 채 할리아를 공격한 것이었습니다. 영상을 본 경찰은 당시 상황이 어땠는지 파악을 끝냈습니다.
Here, let me have your phone. All right, here, I gotta have you sit right here, man. Hey, I need you to just hang out in here, okay? Yeah, I didn't watch the whole video. I just saw the altercation. Okay. And then something happened. I had to put him in the car. And I don't remember what it was, but yeah, it's good video. He's standing maybe 10 feet from him, recording full HD with his iPhone.
People do it. These cameras are insane.
Yeah.
Bree Berrezzini stabbed her. They were getting into a fight. I was sitting in the Jeep because I cannot be around Bree Berrezzini because her baby dad, her brother's my baby dad, and me and her have issues.
Do you know how to spell Berrezzini?
Barozzini. They got into a fight, and as Halia walked to the front door of the Jeep, I saw she had a gash on her. She got in the car and she goes, "I'm getting nauseous." I hopped out the car. I called 911 because I didn't see the fight. I was sitting in the Jeep looking away because I can't be Bree. I can't be part of that
You
family.
didn't see the actual fight?
No, but I know who Bree Berrezzini is. I know her mother and I know her address.
Okay.
그리고 현장에서 도주한 피의자 브리아나 바로지니를 검거하기 위해 그녀의 집으로 출동했습니다. 자택에 도착한 경찰. 문을 열고 나온 그녀는 뭔가 이상했습니다. 피 묻은 옷은 온데간데 없었고 샤워까지 마친 상태였죠. 그리고 경찰의 체포에 아무런 저항 없이 순순히 지시에 따랐습니다. 마치 이 상황을 모두 예상한 듯 말입니다.
Do you have anything sharp on you? Anything I need to know about? Just my views in my pocket. Just what? My views in my pocket.
I'm gonna need to hold your view. Okay. And like I said, when you get this back, you'll have this back too. Okay. All right. Come on this way. Open there for me.
Radio to car 60.
과거의 절친이었던 이들 사이에 무슨 일이 있었기에 이런 끔찍한 사건이 발생했던 것일까? 이제 취조실에 앉은 그녀의 입을 통해 그날 밤의 진실을 들어봐야겠습니다.
Alright, so just kind of, I guess, start from just where you were at earlier tonight, who you were with, kind of what you were doing, sort of stuff.
Okay, well, me and my friend left my house, I would say around like 8:45, and we were hanging out all night. And
He come pick you up?
And we went to the carryout at the square.
So they were 161?
To get drinks and stuff.
Why did you guys choose that one? That's not real close to Westerville.
We always go there. That's just the spot we've gone for years. And we walk in, and I'm grabbing my drinks and stuff, and I hear two girls' voices, the ones that don't like me. And I ignore it. I'm on the phone with my brother. I have my brother on the phone and beside me. We grab our drinks and walk up to check out, and they see me, and they just start running their mouth. Them,
Who were the girls?
And it was Halia Culbertson, and I don't know who the dude was,
Okay.
but he was definitely the loudest. But they just kept instigating, trying to get me to fight them, and I was like, you're not worth it. You're not worth it, I'm done, I'm not doing it. And even the guy working had told them to get out. And then they said they were going to wait for me outside.
What does this all stem from? Like, what's the animosity?
Halia used to be a really good friend of mine.
Uh-huh.
And then I found out a lot that like she's just a really bad person. So I stopped being friends with her, and my friend stopped talking to her.
마침내 두 사람이 양숙으로 변해버린 내막이 드러났습니다. 한때는 누구보다 가까운 절친이었지만 할리아의 평소 행실에 문제가 있다고 생각한 바로진이는 거리를 뒀었죠.
And then after that, she pretty much just went.
이 사실을 알게 된 할리아는 그때부터 그녀에게 적대감을 표출했던 것입니다.
The guy working at the smoke shop, we were checking out, he checked us out and then he was like, wait, I'm gonna make sure they leave. So he walks out and it looks like he's just standing there. So I think he told them to leave, and then when we walk out, they were by a Jeep. I think it was a silver Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
And they're screaming at me, and then the dude tells Halia to run up on me, and she's walking up, and I keep telling her, I'm not fighting you, back up. I said, you're not worth it. I keep telling her to back up, and I get my knife out in my hand, and I'm holding it, I said, back up. And she attacks me. She first slapped me. She was pushing me. Well, before that, Yad was trying to like push her away from me, but the other guy was yelling at him not to touch her or else he was going to do something to him. And I just kept backing up, and then she just attacked me, and I don't know what exactly happened, but I went like this, and then she dragged me by my hair on the ground, and like there was just blood in my eyes. I couldn't see anything, but I don't think I hit her or anything because I was on the ground getting blood out of my eyes. I had no idea what was going on. I was just in shock at that point.
Well, you think it was
They
just
were like,
Halia?
I don't know. She was really amped up, and I have no idea why. With me even saying I'm not fighting you, she was just amped up, and they were instigating.
Before any blows, like any hitting or anything like that, you pull the knife out and hold it to your side, right?
Yeah,
That's
I was
what you
backing
said.
up away from her.
Was it open or shut?
Open.
Okay. Is it a knife you have to? We haven't seen the knife. Is it a knife you has a sheath, or is it like a pocket knife, or?
It's like a pocket knife.
It's like folds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then once you pulled it out, you open it up immediately.
No, it wasn't immediate.
Okay.
But I had it there, and then when she kept getting closer, that's when I opened it.
Okay.
그런데 여기서 한 가지 짚고 넘어갈 점이 있습니다. 왜 살상용 잭나이프를 호주머니에 지니고 다녔던 걸까? 관계가 틀어진 이후 배신감을 느낀 할리아가 지속적으로 살해 위협과 협박을 가해왔던 사실이 밝혀졌습니다.
Crazy, like saying she was going to kill us and slash his tires and do all these things, and like she does to most people. There's a few people out there that she's done that to.
Slash your tires and that.
I don't know specifically if she has actually slashed someone's tires, but she threatens a lot of people to kill them, and so.
이에 보복이 두려웠던 그녀는 호신용 칼을 챙겼고 일방적인 폭행을 당하자 자신을 지키기 위해 칼을 들었던 것입니다.
Do you remember swinging the knife at her?
Not really.
I mean, you
It all
remember?
happened like really fast.
Yeah. Now, do you remember? Did you swing the knife at her as you were backing up or going forward?
I think I was backing up because I was trying to I think I was putting space in between us by doing that.
It all happened pretty quick.
Yeah. The last time I saw Halia at the smoke shop, I was with her, and that was probably 4 or 5 months ago, maybe, or whatever October was. I think that's when we stopped being friends, was in October or September. And then I've never seen her before. I heard she went there, but I never saw her.
that it's kind of like a hangout type place?
No, I don't usually hang out there. I don't know. They were there for a while, I think, because they were just standing there talking when we walked in. Yeah, we just went in to get drinks, and because we were about to head back to my house.
그런데 여기서 또 의문점이 있습니다. 아무리 앙숙 관계더라도 왜 이렇게 치고받고 하는 상황까지 벌어졌던 것일까? 그녀와 딜런의 증언에 이 해답이 담겨 있었습니다.
Bree and Halia were supposed to be fighting while they were in the Columbus
Was this like
Square.
a planned thing or what?
No, it was random as she came in while we came in. Like it was random as
In the smoke shop?
Yeah, in the smoke shop right there.
Okay.
It just
And they
happened to
started
come
going
in and they started going at it in the store. And Bree called Halia a cokehead.
Okay.
Halia's a sober, like she's a recovering addict. So she took that into great offense. You know, I don't know if you've met any recovering addicts, but like me personally, I'm one.
Who was an addict? I'm sorry.
Halia was an
okay.
addict. So and she called Halia out on being
a cokehead.
Yeah. So like Halia got mad and Halia was waiting outside and they were supposed to just fight. It was supposed to just be a fight. Like I was there. I was supposed to be like in between it. I didn't even see a knife get pulled.
Okay.
Like I'm not sure if it was a knife or if she had a ring on her finger and just got her. Like you know what I'm saying? Like because the knife got pulled out and it was on the ground and I saw it.
What kind of knife was it?
It looked like a switchblade, like a butterfly knife type of knife. But I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
Like if I'm gonna be honest with you, but she didn't have time to pull it out because Halia, like I'm not gonna lie, that's my little sister, but she smacked the out of her first. Like you can see it on the video.
Right.
Halia smacked her. All you saw from that was hands on hands. There was no like digging into pockets and pulling out and going like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
There was none of that. Because if I would have seen that, I would have already been in there and y'all would have been called sooner. We didn't know she was bleeding out till she got it back. She crunched Bree in the face. Bree was on the ground and she walked away. Halia walked away, got in the Jeep ready to drive.
Right.
And she was sitting there and comes over to me and goes, she's spitting blood out of her chest. And I come over and I just see like right in this area on the right or left side of her chest, shooting blood. My first reaction is take my shirt off, put it on top, put pressure on it.
Okay.
I've had my brothers die in my arms because they got shot and I didn't put pressure on it. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't put pressure fast enough. So like
That's rough. That's rough, brother.
Man, just please save my sister, bro.
Okay.
이제야 이 모든 것들이 맞춰졌습니다. 자신을 향한 비난에 코카인 중독자라는 맞불을 놨고 이에 긁힌 할리아가 폭행을 결심했던 것입니다. 과연 딜런의 말은 사실이었을까? 증언의 신빙성 확보를 위해 가게 직원의 말을 좀 더 자세히 들어봐야겠습니다.
3 friends was in the store first. And then the other 2 came in moments after. So it was kind of, they were shopping while 2 girls was talking to me. And then one initiated the other. So I did my best to hurry up to get one out the store instead of all of them. So all 4 of them came out and left the store. The other 2 stayed in and purchased their beverages. So I told my coworker, like, I'm going to defuse this. So I stepped outside and was talking to her.
Who's her, dear? Which one? The one that got stabbed, you were talking to her?
I was trying to tell her, like, I got this business.
Yeah.
Just go.
Yeah.
The guy that recorded everything, he's standing right there and he's recording everything. She walks off. It looked like she literally was about to leave until the 2 come out. And then I'm trying to explain to him, like, yeah, man, I understand you got a business to run. He goes and shakes my hand. At the same moment, the other 2 come out the store, then ignites it.
Okay.
So he instigated it when I just calmed everything down, even though she was still upset.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at him like, really?
Okay. So when the blonde girl came out of the store, he goes, now go.
Yeah, he said, yeah, y'all get her. There she go. So the brunette girl ran up on her. They started fighting.
Okay.
Dalen and Halia were over here, and they were waiting for the people to come out.
They were waiting more by the door, or
a little bit close. Yeah, they weren't
still
near
kind of in the parking lot.
Yeah, and then whenever they came out, they just started going at it.
Who's that?
The girl and Halia.
Okay, so did Dalen or the other guy jump in at all?
No, the guy that was with the other girl, I think he tried to separate them, but Dalen kept telling him not to separate them. I don't know why.
Okay.
I feel like that would have solved this whole situation.
The one that got stabbed actually slapped her and walked off, and that's when it got intense. She pretty much initiated it right then and there.
So she made the first physical contact. Is that what you're telling me? So she slapped her and then she walked away?
Yes, she slapped her and walked away, but the other one proceeds to go after her. She follows her, and that's when the fight happened.
Do you know who struck who first?
The brunette girl attacked her.
Okay, so she attacked her. Was she punching, slapping?
Yeah,
what?
the only thing I know
would
from the
you
camera,
describe
I
it?
just see hands and hair.
Okay,
So I knew they was going back and forth. The blonde-haired girl did not want to fight.
okay.
She actually tried to walk away. She tried to walk around the other dude and everything. She tried to get on the other side of the dude.
Okay.
But the brunette girl kept persuading, pushing toward.
이제 상황 파악이 끝난 경찰은 범행 당시 칼과 옷에 대해 그녀에게 물어보기 시작합니다. 그런데 떳떳하던 정당방위 주장과 달리 그녀의 진술은 뭔가 이상했죠.
And then afterwards, what all happened with you?
I called my mom on the way home. Well, my brother was on the phone, so he was already in his truck. He was going to head to me because he was worried. And I told him just to head home because I was going to head home. I called my mom, told her what happened. I got home and explained it better to them. And I showered. And then I just was in my room.
What did you do with the clothes and the knife?
The clothes, I threw them on the ground. I think my brother put them downstairs in the laundry room. And the knife, I don't remember who I handed it to. I just wanted it all away from me, so.
You don't know what happened to all this stuff?
Yeah, I don't know where they put it or anything.
But you took it into the house? So during the fight, or when she was hitting you, what happened with the knife during that time?
It had dropped on the ground.
Okay.
And it was no longer in my hand.
Okay. And then did you pick the knife up after they went
And
back to
she
the car?
finally let go of me. I think I left the stuff on the ground.
Oh, the stuff from the store?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know she had been cut at that point?
I didn't know if it was me or her because they were yelling, saying that they were laughing, saying that she made me bleed. So I was like, maybe there's a cut on me. But then I was looking all over myself. When we got in the car, I was like, I don't think it's me. Because she was just kept hitting. I couldn't see anything because my hair was just everywhere.
Hair was in your face and all that? But then you realized that if it wasn't you, it had to have been her once you were in the car?
Yeah, because as soon as we got in the car, we left. We didn't
Just drove
want
out of there, yeah.
I wanted no part of it anymore.
Did you call the police at all?
No, I didn't know what to do. I thought police would come to my house, like, fast. And then when they didn't, I just went to bed.
그런데 반대편 취조실에 있던 또 다른 인물, 바로 진이를 데려다준 이하드의 말은 조금 달랐습니다.
You know what happened to the knife?
She still has it in her house. I know her brother put it somewhere because it was, or her clothes and everything somewhere because it was, filled with blood. It was getting all over the bathroom floor.
But she didn't leave it in your car or anything, did she?
No.
She took the knife in the house?
Yeah. Last time I saw it was so I took it to the bathroom because it was still dripping blood, cleaning it as much as possible. and then I gave it to Cameron in the living room.
You gave the knife to Cameron?
Yeah.
바로지니의 오빠 캐머런이 동생의 피 묻은 옷을 세탁기에 돌리고 범행에 쓰인 칼과 신발을 지하실에 은닉한 것이었죠. 기억나지 않는다는 그녀의 말. 자택 압수수색 결과는 이아드의 말과 일치했습니다. 피 묻은 옷은 이미 세탁기 안에서 돌아가고 있었고 범행에 쓰인 흉기는 지하실 구석 신발 더미 속에 철저히 은폐되어 있었습니다. 정당방위를 주장하던 그녀의 진술과 달리 노골적인 증거 인멸 정황이었습니다. 그리고 잠시 후 담당 형사는 그녀에게 무거운 진실을 통보했습니다.
Just so that you know, Talia was taken to the hospital, and that's where she died. She didn't survive her injuries. So with all the people that we interviewed and the video that we recovered, we're charging you with murder.
친구의 죽음을 통보받은 바로지니. 그녀는 단숨에 살인 미수가 아닌 살인자로 바뀌었습니다. 그런데 그녀의 반응은 어딘가 기묘했습니다.
No sort of self-defense or anything?
Essentially, it'll be up to the prosecutor's office. We'll present the case to them, and then if they decided that they want us to present to the grand jury, we'll present to the grand jury. If you get indicted for it, then it'll go to trial, it'll go to court, and then you'll be able to present a self-defense claim at that point. Does that make sense?
죄책감이나 절친을 잃은 슬픈 모습은 좀처럼 찾아볼 수 없었죠. 그녀의 얼굴에 번진 건 오직 자신의 정당방위 주장이 무너질지도 모른다는 극도의 불안감뿐이었습니다.
You have any questions for me at this time? Do you want me to call your mom right now, or do you want to call her? You'll get a call when you get to the county jail.
I'm not going home.
No, you're going to jail. Because we're charging you with the murder.
You want to stand up for me? Face the wall. Put your palms together like this. There you go. Lift your hands off your back a little bit. So we're gonna run downstairs, get your picture taken, and then head down to Jackson Pike, okay? We're going to the right.
과연 법원은 그녀의 정당방위 주장을 인정해 줄 것인가? 아니면 자비 없는 중범죄로 엄단할 것인가? 어떤 처벌이 내려질지 법정으로 시선을 옮겨봐야겠습니다. 사건 발생 1년 후 오하이오주 프랭클린 카운티 법정. 마침내 참혹했던 그날의 진실을 가릴 재판의 막이 올랐습니다. 검찰은 피고인이 사전에 흉기를 숨기고 비무장 상태의 피해자를 찔러 사망케 한 잔혹성을 강조하며 1급 살인 혐의로 그녀를 압박할 생각이었죠. 반면 변호인 측은 철저한 정당방위로 일방적인 폭행과 생명의 위협을 느껴 어쩔 수 없이 방어권을 행사했다며 무죄를 받아낼 생각이었습니다. 피해자 유가족들은 피고인이 무거운 중범죄로 응당한 처벌을 받을 것이라 굳게 믿고 있었죠. 그런데 치열한 법정 공방이 이루어질 것이라는 예상과 달리 예상치 못한 반전이 일어났습니다.
You could stand up for me, please. So I have in the computer a 3-page entry of guilty plea form. The document looks like you signed it and your lawyer signed it. Did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
이 대목에서 짚고 넘어가야 할 의문점이 있습니다. 도대체 왜 살인죄로 그녀를 압박하려던 검찰이 갑자기 형량을 대폭 낮춰 양형 합의를 한 것일까? 사실 검찰 입장에서는 어느 정도 리스크가 있었습니다. 배심원단이 당시 현장 영상을 본다면 피고인의 손을 들어줄 확률이 있었기 때문입니다. 결국 검찰은 무죄로 처분받는 사태만은 막기 위해 과실치사로 낮춰서라도 확실하게 유죄를 받아내려고 했던 것입니다.
In signing it, you're telling me you want to admit to a felony 3 crime called involuntary manslaughter. When you plead guilty, it is a complete admission you're guilty. You're going to be convicted today and you're going to be sentenced on July the 11th. It'll be on your record. It's a non-expungible offense. It carries up to 3 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000. Do you understand the nature of the charge to which you're pleading guilty and what the maximum penalties are?
Yes, Your Honor.
유죄를 인정한 피고인 바로지니. 과연 한 달 뒤에 열릴 최종 선고 공판에서는 어떤 처벌이 내려질까? 모든 사람의 이목이 판사의 입에 집중되었습니다. (2024년 7월 11일) 마침내 최종 선고를 위한 법정이 열렸습니다. 과실치사 혐의로 유죄 인정 합의는 끝났지만 재판장이 구체적으로 어느 정도의 형량을 내릴지는 아무도 몰랐습니다.
All right, let's get started. So, our next case is State of Ohio versus Brianna Barzini, 23 CR 1730. We're here today for sentencing. The court's had the benefit of the pre-sentence investigation, sentencing memorandum filed on behalf of the defendant. The court also had the benefit of reviewing exhibits, photographs taken by the detectives, and the video. I spent a fair amount of time reviewing the video last night. So these are the items that I have reviewed and the pre-sentence investigation.
검찰과 변호인은 남은 형량을 두고 마지막 사투를 벌였습니다. 검찰은 흉기 사용의 잔혹성을 꼬집으며 그녀에게 법이 허가하는 최고형을 요구했습니다.
Your Honor, this is a case of tragedy. Tragedy that resulted in the killing of a young woman named Halia Culbertson. Halia was 17 years old at the time of her death. Your Honor, this tragic killing is a direct result of rage. To put it plainly, Brianna Barzini stabbed Halia Culbertson because she was angry. There is no doubt that Brianna Barzini's actions on March 26 of 2023 were provoked by Halia Culbertson. Halia wanted to engage in a fistfight with Brianna. Halia began arguing with Brianna inside of the 161 smoke shop when the two ran into each other by mere coincidence. Halia challenged Brianna to a fight. When asked to leave the 161 smoke shop, Halia proceeded to wait for Brianna outside. Once Brianna came outside, Halia still pushed for the two to have a fist fight. And that's exactly what Halia did, Your Honor. She engaged. She slapped Brianna Barzini in the face. Your Honor, all of that is fact. It is reasonable that those actions would anger Brianna Barzini. However, none of those actions justify Brianna Barzini taking a knife and plunging it into Halia's clavicle. Rather, that is an act of unjustifiable rage. A stabbing is a disproportionate response to a slap. Your Honor, today this court has the responsibility of deciding the appropriate sentence for Ms. Barzini. I anticipate that the defense will ask the court to determine that Halia's actions are mitigating facts that warrant Ms. Barzini being sentenced to a term of probation. Your Honor, the state submits to the court that the plea resolution in this case already factored in the mitigating circumstances surrounding this case. The unjustified killing of Halia Culbertson warrants the maximum prison sentence allowed by law. Your Honor, you've already heard from the family of the victim. Their grief, their thoughts, their loss, all of this gives this court justification to sentence Ms. Barzini to prison. However, there are a few substantive points that I would like to draw to the court's attention. One of the biggest questions before this court comes down to Revised Code Section 2929.12c, where this court must weigh whether there are substantial grounds that exist to mitigate the offender's conduct. This entire case at trial would have hinged on this question, Judge. Was this a case of self-defense, or was this a case of an enraged killing?
It's clear to me from watching the video that it was a fist fight. She took the knife out of her pocket somewhat surreptitiously. She was backing away from her, but she got slapped, and then she moved away from her and she came forward with the knife. It's very clear from the video. She could have taken the slap. That might have been the end of it. People shouldn't bring weapons to a fist fight.
Your Honor, and that's exactly the state's point that it wishes to make, that this is not a case where a knife was brandished to avoid a conflict. This is a case where a knife was put down on his side, and then once Halia Culbertson engaged, she was eventually stabbed by Ms. Barzini. Your Honor, that type of conduct is not conduct indicative of self-defense. That's conduct that's indicative of rage. Your Honor, there's been some comments about text messages that were sent in this case, and I think that it's important to know what the state thinks that the text messages demonstrate throughout this case. The text messages demonstrate that there was an ongoing feud already between the defendant and the victim in this case. Judge, there's no way to mince words here. There was bad blood between the two. The text messages demonstrate that Miss Berrezzini was mad at her. She was mad at Halia. It demonstrates that the fuse, but that to get angry between the victim and the defendant was short. It demonstrates that when Halia and Brianna began to argue and fight, that fuse to become enraged was very short. And the state submits to you that Miss Berrezzini, when she became enraged, did exactly what she had thought about in the past. She stabbed Halia Culbertson. Your Honor, in my closing remarks, I just would like to note this from the pre-sentence investigation, because I agree with the PSI writer. The PSI writer writes that there was an accountable attitude towards the incident offense expressed by the offender. Unfortunately, she has a tendency to assume victim stance by focusing on the alleged actions of the victim rather than her own. Your Honor, I think that that's an articulate summation of what happened in this case. Your Honor, the purposes of felony sentencing, as you know, are to protect the public from future crime by the offender, to punish the offender, and to promote effective rehabilitation of the offender. Those overriding principles in this case demand prison. Your Honor, the state asks this court to give Ms. Berrezzini the maximum potential prison sentence allowed by law. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll hear from the defense in litigation.
변호인은 사건 당시 영상을 마지막 카드로 내밀며 필사적으로 방어에 나섭니다.
And I think that some people have inferred or implied or maybe out and out said that there was a challenge to fight that was from Halia to Brianna, and that challenge was accepted, and that this was somehow mutual combat. Well, Your Honor, I would suggest that that is not so. What I'd like to do is present, if I may, some security video that shows from the store, I apologize, 24:45 as the timer's on the upper right-hand side. What we see here, and I apologize, in the upper right-hand corner is 22:45:51, and that's Ms. Culbertson leaving with the friends that she was with after being told to leave the store. 47:25, I'll do it right there. And there, Your Honor, you can see Ms. Culbertson pacing back and forth in front of the store. And there, 22:48 and 24 seconds is when Brianna and her friend exit the store. Now, it has been certainly implied that she came out to accept the challenge to fight Ms. Culbertson. But I believe that the evidence is anything but that. She comes out with drinks in her hand, not alcoholic drinks, no weapon in her hand, clearly not coming out in order to engage into a fight. Further, as I play this video a little further, we see that she and her boyfriend take a direct path to the car in which they had come. They didn't go looking for Ms. Culbertson's friends. They were minding their business, thinking it had been somehow resolved or over, and they were heading just to peacefully go home. Again, no weapon, drinks in her hand, which makes it difficult to fight somebody with drinks in your hand, but it's clearly that she wasn't coming out expecting to be involved in a fist fight, the mutual combat which has been implied. As Ms. Culbertson was waiting for Brianna to come out of the store, I'd like to
Halia, what you about to do, bro? Where's she at, bro? She's scared, bro. She's scared. Halia should drag her out the store, Buzz. No, we waiting right here till you get your ones. I've been waiting to see her ass get beat for a minute, bro.
I think it aptly disputes the fact that this was a mutual combat. Let's get into a fist fight, and then fist fight got out of hand. And at that time, Brianna had pulled a knife. In watching and reviewing the video that was played about the actual event a little while ago, and I mentioned in the sentencing memorandum, I had counted no less than 30 steps that my client took backwards. She pulled a knife from her pocket and took 15 more steps backwards away from Ms. Culberson. She didn't want to engage at all. This was more an assault on behalf of Ms. Culberson than a mutual fist fight. And at the time, as Mr. Barrett said, she's afraid. She was in fear, and she was absolutely afraid. When her friend tried to jump in and help, Mr. Barrett threatened him.
You know, where's Mr. Barrett? He should have been charged. Yes. He encouraged all this, yeah. Sit down.
Nobody stopped it. And there were people there that could have said, hey, you're my best friend. You don't need to do this. Let's stop it. Stop. They could have stopped it at any time. And nobody did. Instead, they videoed it for content to post later and be funny or famous. And they did so knowing that an assault was going to take place. And that probably should anger us more than almost anything else. But that said, everything else, I mentioned in the sentencing memorandum, with the exception of one thing I would like to add. From the very first time that I met Brianna and her family, which was early April of 2023, she has expressed remorse and an understanding of the harm that she had caused. It's one of the very first conversations that we all had in my office, was the effect that this had on the Culberson family and friends. And I know that there has not been an opportunity for her to send a letter or apologize or try to even explain what happened that night, because I made it clear to everybody they should have no contact. We didn't want to make things worse. So for that, was my decision, and my client was following my directions in that.
그리고 선고에 앞서 피고인 바로지니의 최후의 진술이 이어졌습니다.
You have the right to make a statement. It's up to you. You don't have to. It's up to you.
I never once thought I would be here today with these charges. I also have never been one to start a fight. I'm always the person to back away from confrontation. Not a day goes by that this incident hasn't been on my mind. I understand and feel for the victim's family, as I know the harm I have caused them is indescribable. I also feel for my own family, as the situation has caused them a lot of pain. I can understand and appreciate the harm that I have caused now. I will be living with this guilt the rest of my life. I took a life, and I understand the victim's family will suffer for the rest of their lives, as will my family for what I've put them through. I pray and will continue to pray for all parties involved.
All right, thank you.
이 모든 증언과 증거를 보며 고심했을 재판장. 그리고 잠시 후 이 사건에 대한 판결문 낭독을 시작합니다.
This is a tragedy. Two young women, both acting somewhat immaturely. In my day, you had a fist fight. You had a fist fight. You either won or you lost. Now everybody wants to bring a weapon. There are mitigating factors here. She is eligible for probation. I'm not going to give her probation, but she's eligible for probation. Your family's going to get to see you, spend time with you, watch you grow up, see your wedding. They'll never get that opportunity. I do believe the case was, I don't control plea bargains, but I think it was an appropriate plea bargain. I was fully ready to go to trial. We started a trial. I don't make the decisions about plea bargains, but I think it was an appropriate one, having watched and reviewed all this. So the courts considered the factors in sentencing in 29, 11, and 12, and gone through the more serious factors, less serious factors. You have no record whatsoever. You have a lot of people who think a lot of you, and you obviously have a lot of good things in your life. So did she. That's what makes this a tragedy. I'm going to give you a 3-year prison sentence, 3 days jail credit.
사람의 목숨을 앗아간 대가로 내려진 판결은 징역 3년, 3급 과실치사 혐의에 내릴 수 있는 법정 최대치의 형량이었습니다. 여러분은 이 사건에 대해 어떻게 생각하시나요? 여러분의 생각을 댓글로 남겨주세요. 구독과 좋아요, 댓글은 영상을 만드는데 큰 힘이 됩니다. 감사합니다. 처벌 실화냐?